Welcome to the Mainly Golf Show. I'm
Hey
Chapman
guys.
Palmer. Says here Twig, joined by Hep and Marv, the Sticky Bandits. I've got someone over my shoulder who may end up chiming in. I apologize for that. Shut up.
Sticky Bandits.
New tipster.
Any worse than the current. It was the Open Championship last week at Royal Troon. Can you still hear this, by the way?
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. Well done, Marv. Our tips were absolutely hopeless. I think Adam Ryan was the only one from our three signature picks to make the cut. Wyndham Clark had a shocker on the front nine in the second round. Actually, that's a lie. Davis Thompson made the cut, didn't he, Marv? He scraped in at the end.
He did. I
And
think the other guy did as well, but I can't remember who it was.
there was a couple of the other picks were nowhere. I think I did give a mention about Russell Henley. That's grandstand out the way. Well done, Marv. That's just lost us three of our subscribers. And that's got us demonetized. Xander Schaufele won a first Open Championship, his second major of the year. And Marv, he showed probably the clutch, right? That kind of puts him he's probably not on a bracket with Scotty, but given the fact how Rory hasn't closed out tournaments, God, he kind of just showed you how it was done, didn't it?
Yeah, I was very dubious of Xander, to be honest, at the beginning of the season. But now that he closed out the PGA, he went and won that tournament. He held off Bryson, and he's done it again. The Claret Jug was in the balance, and who was going to step up and 65 on the Sunday, I think, was two better than anybody else in the final round. He went out there and he won it, and as you say, he's now second in the world. He's surpassed Rory, and yeah, fair play to him because I did not. I thought he was a bit of a bottler, but he's no chance now. He's the real deal.
You'd say in hindsight, right? Like for the players, he got a couple of he missed a couple of small putts. I think was it 16 and 17, 16 the par five, 17 he hit it to like 5 feet and missed. Scotty's obviously gone in there with 64 and won it on the last day. It was probably you probably argue for him like about we've backed him for the Masters every year for the last like 4 or 5 years. He's always been in contention, but probably getting over the line like he did with that up and down at 18 to birdie and beating Bryson by a shot. I think for some of these players, right, mentally, when you get that one big one, or you get over the line in that fashion. I use the example of Marv. You probably wouldn't have watched about Matthew Pavon had toiled away on the DP World Tour for about 8 years. He finally won the Spanish Open last year. He then rattled off a load of top fives. I think he was top five in Dubai, the end of season tournament. Goes to the PGA, wins there. Suddenly, right, okay, I can do this, and now he's set for life. So Xander, I think it's just mentally, he's got over that line. Got not to lose now.
Pressure's off.
Got
Pressure's
the
off. Yeah.
major. So, he's like loaded. He said, "This is why I play tournaments." Which I think was a kind of a jab at Liv and some of the Liv golfers who've weird. It was a weird week for Liv, right? Because they didn't really have anyone in
It seems
contention,
to be
right?
all
Ram,
doesn't it?
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to either have like loads in contention or just nobody. But they also have, well, I don't know if they had fewer people this week, but as the years go by, they'll get fewer and fewer in. But yeah, Xander, he's had 8 top tens in majors before this year. The last 7 before this year, he was top 20 in all of them. And then
That's
this year,
insane.
he's got 8th first, 7th first this year. I mean, he's far and away now like number 2 golfer in the world.
Do you think he's underrated?
He probably still is. Like, how many people that don't watch golf that would say name me 10 golfers? Or they probably couldn't even do that. But even people are like, friends of ours that aren't into golf. Like, would they know Xander? Would they?
Oh no.
Probably not. But yeah, just pure consistency. I mean, and then like Marv said, what a round on Sunday that was. Like, no bogeys.
Bogey
600.
365, the last round of the Open at Troon to close it out when you come in. What I think he was one. I think Horschel bogeyed the last inning on Saturday, so he's coming one behind, and he got off to a pretty slow start. I think it was one birdie in his first 7, and then just his tee to green. He was phenomenal. I'm sure you've got the stats to back it up, Pep, but even I think was it on the Friday? I think it was on the Friday or the Saturday when he shot 69. And it's like I played really well out there. That was much better than that score. Just didn't know the putt. Saturday he missed so many chances. And I suppose previously, right, he'd have probably gone get frustrated, just start flag hunting because he's putting everything to like the right miss, right, or getting to 15, 20 feet. He just wasn't holding any putts, which is what you'd see when before Scotty finally won his first, right, and the floodgates opened. I think a lot of it shows that a lot of the golf just in the mind, and that's why you'd argue. Man, we'll get on to Rory McIlroy. Was it 13 over to miss the cut?
There's a lot.
The big
He
score.
doesn't. He does not deserve our time in this 15-minute slot that we have.
I wonder if Najee was on this week. Anyway, you wouldn't see Xander shoot again. To put the comparison, Rory gets a free ride by a lot of people. You wouldn't see Scotty Scheffler shooting 13 over in an open or a major. You wouldn't see Xander shooting 13 over. Why does Rory get away with having a horror show when he was well hyped before? And again, I sent you that article. Paul McGinley, Rory should be favourite this week. Why? Yeah, he's too good, is that Rory? Is he? Yeah, fucking rubbish.
Xander's been in 24 major championships. How many times do you think he's been cut? No, 23. There was one.
Maybe what I think I was on him last year at the Open, and the wind, the weather was awful, and it's either last year or the year before. I think last year, everyone on one side of the road basically got ruled out. I think him and Morikawa were both ruined. Am I right?
Marv, any guesses? Number of cuts?
I'm gonna guess
23
two.
majors.
I'm gonna guess two.
It probably minimal. Yeah.
Yeah, two. He took Masters 22 and the PGA in 21 for his only cuts. He's only come. So of the 21 cuts he's made, his worst is a T41, a T26, and everything else is in the top 20. I mean, there's
It's a real record.
19 top 20s in 23 majors.
Meanwhile, the guys at Death Valley have cracked open a few more eggs because that drought is
38.
barbecue weather.
You see, just jumping to Rory briefly, they said if you look back at the last 10 years, he's probably half of the tournaments he's finished inside the top 10. But then if you add them up, he's had about 8. He's had 8 missed cuts. He's a bit
for a man of his talent, Marv, that's not good enough.
Yeah, and then a tied 50, tied 49, tied 46th. It's a bit of feast or famine with Rory. Not necessarily feast in terms of wins, but it's either top 10, top 5, or he can be volatile. He's not got the consistency, has he?
But why is that?
I just don't think he's got the all-round game in certain conditions. When he's not quite on it, he can't go out there and think, look, I can manage my way around it. I'll shoot a couple under. I'll stay in the tournament. And we've seen it on other tournaments where he might have 3 good rounds, but one of the rounds in the 4, he's that bad that he can't recover. Do you know what I mean?
I would say this, like Scotty's putter was cold all week, right? The 4 put on, was it in round 4, Hep? Shows at the park with the boy, right?
He 3 put from about 3 foot or something stupid.
He 4 putted from like 25 or something stupid.
But it might be the same hole.
I think so. Yeah, he was because I turned away and he left like 2 feet for bogey, and I've turned off. Yeah, I'm chasing around. But Scheffler's scrambling all week was phenomenal. Like he's putting himself in these really tricky spots, especially from the bunkers. His bunker play was absolutely incredible.
Everything was to a foot.
Yeah,
on those bunkers, like greenside bunkers, were just incredible.
And I'd say the 2 guys who I'm obviously fans of, I know they didn't get the job done this week. Although Billy Horschel's scrambling on the Saturday in really difficult conditions was brilliant. I know he bogeyed 18. Probably should have chipped rather than he got his putter out, which he said he regretted afterwards. He just didn't want to be looking at a double. And then obviously going in there tied for the lead rather than going in there with the lead. And Russell Henley, who grinded it out really well on Sunday without doing anything flashy, but I think he thought to himself, if I can get in there about 6 under, I've got a chance. And then Xander's just spread eagled the field and he's left himself kind of with too much to do. Henley and Horschel, I think next year will probably a couple of big prices. But if you look at this year's major winners, right? Bryson, Scheffler, Xander, not a lot of value there if you're just tipping them up. What can we do?
No, it's pick your favorite big boy and just make one bet. I think is you don't get many long shots even contend. Well, I say content. Okay, you do.
There's not been there's not been. Well, I've been on a lot on a Hep. I mean, who was I on in the Masters and they collapsed? Morikawa maybe. And you were on Aberg, right? Aberg was there and kind of just disappeared. He had a poor week. What do you make of Justin Rose? Rosie played really. I thought Rose played really well.
Yeah, it's just played really well. Sort of wily old veteran in harsh conditions. Really wanted him to win. He was the guy I was cheering for. No financial incentive.
And the fact that he qualified, didn't he? He said he meant a lot to him just to be there. Come on.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was probably, to be honest, he was probably a little bit unfortunate, wasn't it? Really, that if he doesn't come up against a Xander, the way that Xander was playing and the ruthlessness that Xander's now got, that Rosie probably falls in, and I generally think that's probably the only way that it was going to win another major by just falling in effectively. It's not that a bad way of falling in because and just unfortunately he had that one tournament when somebody else, one of the hottest players on the planet, was on it.
He was very gracious in defeat Rose as well, to them two in a 2-ball together. He gave him a big congratulations at 18 and said, "You deserve this. Go and enjoy it." Blah blah blah. Which makes everything what you've seen from this year with Bryson and Xander and Rose, even Scotty. I think he was playing Morikawa maybe in the last round, and then you compare that to Rory just signing his scorecard and leaving. Does not look good. You'd say like, this year has to go down as a disappointment, right, for Rory. I know he's won that big Zurich, he won that Zurich Classic in New Orleans, won the Wells Fargo again. Has to be down as a disappointing year again. 10 years now without a major.
It's well. I honestly think the longer it goes, the harder it's going to be.
I think the way he lost the US Open as well,
it's like a dagger.
Coming second, you'd say, okay, not a bad year, difficult to win, but the way he lost it is, like I said, just an awful year for him.
Still awake. Excellent. Anyone else? Was there anyone else that you want to put in the notebook from this week? Anything at a price? Patrick Cantley was thereabouts, right, for a while. Ram was probably the one where you'd probably say he's shown signs of a resurgence. He made a really good bogey at was it 11 or 12 when he hit it OB. Then I think his fourth shot was 52 yards, shipped to 5 feet, made bogey. I just don't think he's probably best for his game playing in live golf at the minute.
No, it's definitely his best showing of the year. Maybe he carries it on, but it's a long time now until Masters in April, so maybe he just goes back to stop caring for a few months.
I mean, Liv are playing in the UK this week. I'm guessing neither of you have even looked at the market or are even remotely interested.
And I knew they were. Because I suppose it was strange that Bryson's obviously flown back to America to film his video, and then obviously is going to surely be flying, back to the UK again.
I'm pretty sure they filmed this before.
Well, I don't know. I assume maybe, but
people film these things like weeks in advance and then schedule them and release them.
Well, fair enough.
This is how content works. Well, he's not going to fly back to America, is he? For 3 days?
Well, you wouldn't think. No. It does sound a bit stupid.
And that's probably why Liv have scheduled this right accordingly, thinking that a lot of guys in Scotland can just come down and. Where is it in London?
Some prestigious exclusive club or something, isn't it? I'm not quite sure. I can't remember what it's called.
That JCB one in London. Yeah, the JCB, and I think it's in Birmingham. Like some recently built, incredible club.
Really?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
A few bit of brass involved then. Have either of you had a look at that or the 3M Championship at the Twin Cities Resort in wherever?
Oh yeah, I've done a lot of deep diving on this one.
I've genuinely not even had. I know 23 now is favourite, but I'd be very surprised if I think the Trends boys have had a look at those guys who played at the Open, especially all 4 days and then flying back. It's a big demand. Like if you're someone like a Tigala, right, or who else was playing this week? Sam Burns was going to be in contention, right? Or a Horschel or Hoagie. I think Keegan Bradley missed the cut. So did Cam Davis. But I think you'd be very brave backing someone under, say, 33s, 25s, knowing that it's a completely different setup as well. You're looking at warm weather, wide fairways, 20 under, 22 under par.
Yeah, it's another birdie fest. It looks like Rose has pulled out, as you'd sort of expect. He seems to be off the board.
And Rosie's earning enough money now this year. He probably gets his total card from the year. He's all right. I think
Yeah,
he's 46, 47 now.
He's not older. But yeah, I won't be surprised to see Billy or Thurston pull out as well. But I guess they're still grinding. If you're in form, go and make the most of it. But yeah, I'm not touching Tony, even though he won here a couple of years ago. Or Burns, I think, yeah, take a few punts at longer odds. But, Hoagie and Mitch Mitchell are just singing to me again. I don't want
Keith
to do
Mitchell.
it.
I don't know what Keith Mitchell must have pitched to you with farmyard animals. You've got such this affinity with the man.
He's just a beautiful man. I just love his little visor.
What about someone like a Maverick McNeely? Now, Marv, I know you've never heard of him. He's very popular in DraftKings land.
I hadn't till about 2 weeks ago.
What do you, Tristan? Do you know what? If Tristan Lawrence had won the Open, I'd have been out that window. He should have won a couple of tournaments. Remember Hep? I was on him. Maybe was it last year? And he's leading by 3 entering the last round, and he's probably like 3. He's about 2s on. He ends up shooting 5 over. It was in South Africa as well, so it's probably like last November. And I'm thinking, how has this even happened? Like he's playing in this awful field. Like I can't back him ever again. And then suddenly he's 7 under leaving the Open. Do it to me.
I think he got a little timid and shy with some of his puts, like on that final 9. You could tell he was like, "Oh, I don't want to race it 5-6 foot past trying to get a hole of birdie." And I think Horschel as well looked a bit.
Horschel looked very apprehensive.
Emotions maybe got the better of him as well, yeah. And as you say, Scotty didn't break 70 all week, which is crazy. But
would there be anybody who you saw last week that you would not necessarily keep an eye on, but would you'd be wanting to follow them in going on for future tournaments?
I definitely wouldn't be following Shane Lara. I'm just not a fan of him. And the
You
70s.
don't like fat people.
I've never said that on this pod, ever. I don't think I've.
You said that fang figure of
Did I
a
say
man, Shane Lara.
okay? Yeah, you see, the 77 just completely threw him out of contention here on Saturday. In terms of anyone else, no. I said I'm kind of getting the bit of the opinion that the Open Championship is now the most unknown tournament every year out of the majors. I just think the weather, the conditions,
the
draw.
when you say unknown, you mean like
yeah, I just think
yeah.
so. It's hard to maybe, you said Sam Burns, 65 on Saturday. What did he shoot? 80 on Sunday.
He shot 80.
15 shot swing Saturday to Sunday.
Jesus, I didn't know he shot 80 on Sunday.
So and it's just and he got the better draw for the weather, didn't he, on the Saturday? So made a run up through the leaderboard and then.
Yeah, it's definitely the major that 100 to 1 shot can sneak, whereas the others, I think, are very much just it's got to be one of the elites. But also I'd throw out, I think, last week, if you're trying to analyze how players are going to play in America, they don't play in the rain like that. They don't play in those sort of golf courses. Obviously, I don't think anything I would carry across. I'm not going to jump on Rose or Horschel or Henley going forward.
Henley's very good in tough conditions. Rose is a US Open champion, and he's done it on the Ryder Cup. I think he's won at Pebble Beach before. So he obviously thrives in conditions. Horschel's won at the British. Horschel's won at Wentworth. I've had it before, Wentworth form really correlates well to the Open because it's similar setups that it's long par fours. A lot of it is course management, and a lot of it is just being like you said, mate, cough management becomes kind of so imperative, especially at some of these on Saturday. Some of these par fours were basically playing three shotters, and Horschel was being very clever in terms of giving himself 65 yards with his third it from the fairway, and then trying to get it to like 5 to 10 feet for par. Whereas a lot of the American guys were just trying to smash it, and then you end up in the rough, and you end up with like 130 from the rough for your third, and then you're making you're risking double.
Well, you're not even giving yourself a half a chance at making
Exactly.
a par here.
And Horschel was scrambling and making good pars, and that's why he ended up going in with the lead. But some people just taking themselves out of it, and like a Lawrence or a Sunburns were very fortunate that they played in the morning when there was no wind. And like you said, the difference between those that played, say, within a time span of like 3-4 hours was about 7 shots. It's very hard to plan for that, especially if you imagine if you like backing players anti-post for next year now. Like
the one player, yeah, the one player I would throw out there is I'm not sure whether he'll win another major anytime soon, but I also wonder if maybe Morikawa is. I know we think he's can he get over the line, but he's probably the only one that he's doing a bit of what Schaufele did before he started finishing the job.
He balled at the Masters, didn't he, when he was anywhere near Scott?
Didn't even notice he came 16th, to be honest.
But
he was kind of there or thereabouts for a while. Scott had another good couple of weeks, but I think we said before I'd be very surprised if Adam Scott did.
That looking down the list, it's very hard to find anybody. I still think there's a golfer in Jason Day, but as soon as he won last year, he's gone off.
What about our good friend and former schoolmate Daniel Brown? Where's he come from?
Yorkshire.
Well, the one thing I will say about this past week is that it was the leaderboard has ended like to me a major should. It was a hard enough test. What was it? 9 players under par. It kind of separated. I just feel a little bit. I know it is the way it is links golf, but I just think some people just get screwed over because of the draw and everything. You have to accept it, but I much prefer seeing a major like that though than say a 20 under winning a major. I will say.
And last words before my mother can finally go to sleep. Will we see Tiger back again? I know he had a spar with Monty in the week, saying, I get to play these things, Monty, because I won it, baby. Was it sad to see?
I won't say it's sad. No, I wouldn't call it sad because I sometimes have to be a bit of a realist. And you think, look, the guy nearly died in a car crash, or at least
he just physically can't move the way.
Come on, exactly can't. And so it's just not possible. Look, he did it in 2019, didn't he? And I do think I don't want to say he fell in that day, but if there was a Scheffler or a Schauffele around in the form that they're currently in.
Schauffele was around and he ended up going to splash as well.
But that's it. The ruthlessness that you feel those two are now kind of now got. I just think it all came together. So I think Tiger will still turn up for the majors. At the end of the day, he's not going anywhere. But
he'll play the Masters like every year. First major, he doesn't have to play any events. He can plan his warm up or what his schedule, and then if that has an effect on him, then he maybe misses the others. But
end of the day, he's a commercial asset in his size.
He'll probably play he'll play maybe Pebble Beach or the Genesis beforehand, and then play the Masters and then see how he feels after that. And finally, before we wrap up, who do you think goes a favourite for the Open Championship next year? They're in Portrush. They're in Ireland. McIlroy missed the cut. Remember, he shot 5 over in the first round, and then I think he got to I think he got back to 1 over and missed the cut by 1. He had a birdie put 18. McIlroy, if he wins a big tournament early doors, people are going to start supporting him.
Like a Pro-Am or something.
Pebble Beach, baby.
The Wednesday of the Pro-Am, not the fucking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
All right. If he wins the Masters, he'll go off favourite for the Open.
365 do have prices up. He is.
I'm going to get Scheffler 6-1, Schaufele 8, Rory 10.
You
got Scheffler right. The other two the way around. Rory 8.
How can Schaufele, how can
I'd-
Rory
I'd-
be
I'd-
shorter than Xander?
I'd rather find a price of Rory
It's
to
an
win
island.
no majors next year.
We can request that. Should we tweet Sky Bet? See if he can give us a price.
Well, what would he say? Roughly 8-1 each tournament, do we think, at the
Mm.
moment?
Yeah.
He's probably, what, 4 to 6 to not win a major?
I reckon you might probably get 2s on.
1 to 2? Yeah, maybe
You're looking at
6.
2s on 6 to 4. Rory 6 to 4 to win a major next year. 2s on no. 2s
The
on's not a bad
Olympics
bet.
now in a couple of weeks.
It's better than putting in XRP. Hef,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
for sure.
Let's give McIlroy the gold medal at the Olympics. That's his major for this year.
Rory doesn't. Is he playing this year?
You win it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is he? I thought, yeah. Is it? Because it's
Shep. Scotty, Xander, Rory,
Mm.
Ludwig, Rahm.
Who's Rory
Margot,
representing?
Ireland, isn't he?
The Northern
though he's
Ireland
British.
and Republic of Ireland come together in the Olympics here. So
Yeah.
I think that's right.
He's not Great Britain. He's Ireland.
And we'll have a discussion about Londonderry and Jacob, Ireland, another time. Right. That's been our Open Championship review. I've got a very tired mother here to get to bed. I've been Twig. He's been Hep and he's been Marv. And we'll see you
Take
all
care,
next week for proper golf coming back. I think it's the FedEx St. Jude, but we'll come back next week.
It's the Olympics.
Was the Olympics? We'll have a look
Is it?
then. We'll find a winner. Ta-ra.
Good night, Dee.